This is an introduction to the use and maintenance of the American Swedish Historical Museum's Cameo Mural Navigation Site, intended to provide somewhat of a self-guided tour for visitors to the museum who are interested in knowing more about the cameo images that surround the mural on the ceiling of the museum's Great Hall. Using the American Swedish Historical Museum site is meant to be simple and intuitive for all staff and museum visitors with little or no technical background. First, let's address hardware. This site is meant to be viewed on an Android tablet housed within the museum. The site is able to be viewed on all browsers and devices. However, it was designed for Android tablet use, as that is the hardware intended to be provided by the museum. The 360-degree image at the top of the site is not currently viewable on iOS devices. However, we have been working with Wix, the hosting company's support team, and are assured that a fix should be arriving any day now, and suddenly we should bring the site up on an iOS device and be able to use the 360 image at the top of the site. For tablet use in the museum setting, the Android tablet is best locked to one app, the browser, and restricted from other app use. This can be accomplished using a setting within the Android OS called screen pinning, which prevents users from switching apps without a PIN code. I will include a link to instructions for setting up screen pinning on an Android device on our support slides. In order to use the site, your browser should be set to the following URL. The first feature of the site is the 360-degree image of the Great Hall within the American Swedish Historical Museum. Users are able to drag the image to see a full 360-degree view of the hall. On some devices, this navigation can be completed by simply tilting or moving the device. This is an example of how this image is intended to work. This was implemented with the intention that at some point the site may be used by people remotely who are not present in the museum, and it's helpful to provide a context for where these images are and how they're being viewed. Below the 360-degree image is some background information about the cameos and their origin. Below the text are a series of tiles, each representing either factual information, as in this tile, representing Christian von Schneidau, or one of the cameo paintings. As you can see, upon mouse hover or click with a tablet, a preview of the content about each picture appears in an overlay of the image. Users can click the overlay of any image to be taken to a page featuring an expanded display of the full information about that image. At the bottom of this description, on some of our images, there are additional links that can take you to other relevant content about the image. The expanded view can be exited by simply clicking the X in the top right-hand corner, at which point you'll be taken back to the main site. When the user is finished reading about a particular image, they can close it easily and move on to the next one that strikes their interest. They will return immediately to the tile gallery. This functionality persists across all of the tiles representing parts or all of the murals. Upon completion of this project, ownership of the Wix site and account will be transferred to the museum staff. Any necessary updating of the site can be completed through the Wix editor, which is fairly intuitive and requires little, if any, training. Both Megan and myself will be available via email should any support be necessary during the transition of ownership. However, I will provide a quick example of editing the image content. Once you log into Wix.com, you will be taken to this dashboard that lists the sites that are hosted underneath this particular user account. Under Site Actions, you can click Edit Site. You'll be taken into the Wix editor. You scroll down through the site until you reach the part that you want to edit. In this case, we're going to click on the tile gallery and click Manage Media. We will be given a grid of the images, at which point we can choose the image whose information we would like to edit. The description and written portion is underneath the title. Any text editing necessary can be done in this place. At this point, you simply just close out of the image. You can preview the site to make sure that your changes are reflected as intended. And when you are pleased with the changes, you simply hit publish. And now the changes are live at the URL referenced earlier. This is a complete tour of the site, both for users and for staff at the museum, for allowing users to access the site and also for maintenance of the site. And again, both Megan and myself will be available via email during the transition should any support be necessary for the museum staff.